Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. All right, y'all. So I don't know what's happening. Okay, you hear me, John? All right. Hey, John, just confirm that. Can you hear me? Because I don't hear it. All right, I hear it now. All right, here we go. Oh, man. This is crazy. So I guess this is what's going to happen every time I go live. All right. But we can work through it. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it work. Make it do what it do. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me repeat what I was saying. All right. So here we go, y'all. Let's go ahead and let me do my thing before we get started. All right. Okay, welcome. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Welcome. This is the Astrotheology presentation. This presentation is coming out of a book written by Robert Taylor. It's a compilation of a series of lectures that were given in about the 18 teens, the 1820s, somewhere around there. Those lectures were compiled and written and published in book form in 1857. Okay, in 1857. So this is a very old book. The English is antiquated, so it's a difficult read. But we're making our way through it. Okay, we're making our way through it. So my role here is to not try to convince you of anything. My role is not to try to make you become or change whatever it is that you're doing right now. Okay, that's not what I'm doing. My role here is to read the information the author has written. So I'm going to be reading the book and I'm going to interpret what the author has written because it's a difficult read. You'll see once we get started if this is your first time here. And after that, I'll discuss it, okay? Or explain it. Explain, discuss, and then I'll read the comments. So that's what you can expect right now. So in terms of trying to convince anyone of something, that's not what this video is about. It's your responsibility to listen and read along and make your own decisions, okay? Coming to this presentation right now will give you information. You'll see philology, linguistics, and etymology applied to understanding this document. And then you'll see the power in it for yourself. And then you can make decisions based upon science. See, based upon language is constructed, right? Also based upon what the church fathers have written, and also based upon the mythological stories that are involved here. So this is the author's point of view, not my point of view. It is not my point of view. I'm reading what the author says, okay, and we explain and discuss, and I will be checking the comments from time to time and reading off your comments, and we can talk back and forth if you want, okay? So make sure you are very active in the comments because it's not just us who are going to watch this. It's going to be people for years and years and years and years to come who are going to watch this video, okay? So your comments are going to help other people. And you don't have to be for this information, and you don't have to be against it. It really doesn't matter. what your position is, or even if you're a Christian or a Hebrew Israelite, or if you're non-New Testament, if you don't acknowledge the New Testament, or if you do, really doesn't matter. This is for everybody. So we need to know this information. And this is a very, very good education. So I appreciate you being here with me this evening. And if you can show up every day for these lives that I'm doing with this book, you're going to receive a tremendous education, and it's free. You don't have to pay for this. It is absolutely free. And most people don't have this knowledge, but you'll have it. You didn't pay a thing for it. So make sure you take advantage of it. All I ask for you to do is like, subscribe, and share the video, especially if you're learning. Okay, if you are learning, or even if you're enjoying. But I can guarantee you 99.99% of the population in the world has never seen this information. And what you're going to be exposed to in these presentations are going to answer a lot of questions for you. And you're going to be a better, smarter person as a result of this. Okay, this will move you closer to the Most High. For sure it will. All right, so now let's go ahead and get started. We're at zionlawschool.org in the product section. So this is zionlawschool.org. This is our website. So I clicked on the products in the menu, and it brought me here because I want to share some really wonderful things with you that's going to be of great help to you. This 911 Ibaryath Rescue book, both of these have all of the pictographs in Ibaryath. So these are the ABCs of Ibaryath. Everybody needs to have a copy of this book. Okay, the international edition is black and white. Otherwise, both of these purple books, they have the same content. These books are very rich, and they're going to make you a very wealthy person in terms of your understanding of your heritage. Okay, so I highly recommend everybody go out and order this book. Don't order it on Amazon or some other online retailer. Order it on zionlawschool.org. The reason is that when you order on Amazon, they take so much money that it's really not even worth having your books on Amazon, right? But you have to put it there because people are searching Amazon, right? So order from here. It helps us out greatly when you do that. The next book I want to introduce you to is Animals in the Bible. This is a wonderful book. This book is very colorful. It has the animals that are in the Bible, and it has their Ibaryath name. So you can read the name, and you can also pronounce the name. So you can see the Ibaryath words right here, right? So order this book. Your children will love this book. And actually, you'll love it too. You'll love it. And this book is only, what, $9.99. It's full color. It's full color, glossy, everything. All right. So make sure you order this for yourself and for your children. We're basically giving it away. If anybody knows anything about book publishing, you know that full color books are extremely expensive to print. Okay. So go ahead and get this book. The price is only $9.99 for a reason. That's because we want all of the babies, all of the children to have this. Okay, so you can have multiple copies of this for each of your children. Let them have their own copy. You know, books are personal. If you can afford it, you should always buy your son or your daughter, however many you have, their own copies of books. Okay. So anyway, that's Animals in the Bible. And this is also for adults. This is also for adults, but it was designed with children in mind. Okay, that's why it's full color, very shiny, glossy pages, really beautiful images. All right. So make sure y'all go out and order that. And then also order our I Can Read Deuteronomy chapter 28 books. Okay. This is going to teach you Ibaryath. So this is volume 2. So far we have 3 volumes, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3 published. Okay. So make sure y'all go out and get this book. This is going to teach you the language. You'll learn etymology. It has grammar, part of speech in here. It shows you how words are constructed. And it gives you Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14 in Ibaryath. And it's designed so that you can actually pronounce the words yourself, the way it's written. So you'll be able to pronounce these Ibaryath words yourself. All right. So this is the style it's written in. Okay. That top line is the Ibaryath. All right. So let's go back and then we will go straight to our lesson. I just want to remind everybody about the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. All right. The 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. This is a streaming course, y'all. Everybody really needs to subscribe to this course. It's just $1. You get a 1-day trial. Okay. You're going to learn everything Ibaryath. You don't need modern Hebrew. You don't need biblical Hebrew. That is not ours. Modern Hebrew and biblical Hebrew is not ours. This is what you need if you want to return to the Most High. You need Ibaryath, 101 Ancient Ibaryath. All right. This is an online streaming course. There's literally no risk here because it's just $1 for a 1-day trial. You can drive the car off the lot, right? After 1 day, subscribe, $10 or cancel, right? You can cancel, no contract. There's no doctrine here, no religion, none of that stuff, okay? It is strictly the pictographs, the grammar, the culture embedded in the words and in the pictographs and Ibaryath word studies. And I'm telling y'all, these Ibaryath word studies that you see here, they are phenomenal. They're going to blow your mind. Okay. And I'm not talking hype. This is a powerful course, a powerful course. So if you really want to return to the Most High, I mean, think about this, y'all. If you really want to return to the Most High, how can you turn down an opportunity to learn our language for just $10 a month, right? It's basically free for what you're getting. Compare this to what you would pay if you go to a Hebrew college or a synagogue, right? They're going to charge you thousands, literally thousands, okay? Thousands of dollars just to be there. And it's not even yours. That's theirs. Modern Hebrew is theirs. Biblical Hebrew is theirs. Ibaryath is ours. All right. So don't think that this is no good because it's basically free or almost free, $10. Don't think that. It's almost $10 so that you can get it and learn it. All right. And for those of you who may not appreciate, once you begin learning, you'll begin to appreciate how wonderful this is and what the Most High is doing for you by making this information available to you for almost free. So respect, support your own, okay? Respect what the Most High has provided with this Ibaryath. The skills that I'm using as we go through this document are in this course, but much more, much more, all right? Much more. So all right, so we're done with that. Y'all make sure y'all go and subscribe, especially if you want to support this astrotheology presentation. If you want to support this, help me carry the load, you can order our products that we just went over. We have more on our page, or you can donate paypal.me/Zion Law School. I think that's what it is. Everything is in the description of this video. All the links are in the description of this video. But what I really want to see everyone do is subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, okay? Because that's easy. That's only $10 a month. Another easy way to get in is to order the Animals in the Bible book. That's only $9.99 per month, right? But the Deuteronomy I Can Read series, you can buy those. That would be great. Our Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time class, we're using I Can Read Volume 3. That's Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 through 29. So if you want to go out and buy that volume, get that. You can come to our Saturday class at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That class is 506 The Curses. The link is also in the description. You can come and enjoy and learn some free classes. All right. So make sure you click on the links in the chat. All right. So here we go. Jeremiah 8, verse 8. All right. Jeremiah 8, verse 8. So here we go. So we're in the Bible Hub, Jeremiah 8, verse 8. We're going to go down to the Amplified Bible. All right. The Amplified Bible. Here we are. Okay. So it reads, how can you say we are wise and the law of the Most High is with us, and we are learned in its language and teachings? Behold, the truth is that the lying pen of the scribes have made the law into a lie, a mere code of ceremonial observances. By definition, a code of ceremonial observances, or even just ceremonial observances. See, this is religion, scholars. This is religion. So Jeremiah is telling us, warning us right here, that our ancestors, these scribes, who we know to be part of the black priesthood, the dark priesthood, that the author mentioned in this book that we're reviewing. So who are the dark priesthood's power? They call their power, if y'all remember, the divine master. What else do they call him? The Black Prince. All right. So our ancestors created religion: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Our ancestors were involved in that. All right. Our ancestors were involved in that. And how did they do it? How did they do it? Well, come to our Saturday class, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and find out. But what I can tell you is this. Jeremiah says, how can you say we are wise? What is wisdom? Wisdom is the proper application of knowledge. Okay? So Jeremiah is saying, how can you say we are applying knowledge correctly or properly? Next, he says, so we see the conjunction and. So here's another thought is going to follow. And the law, the better rendering would be instruction. And the instructions or law of the Most High is with us. See, how can you say this? See, you think it. You're thinking that you are applying the Most High's instructions properly. You're thinking you're following the law, right? You think you know what the law is. Okay, so let's do it again. How can you say we are wise and the law of the Most High is with us? All right. Continues, and we are learned in its language. What language? Ibaryath. That's why the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course is so very critically important for you to learn. This is part of your return to the Most High. And you'll see why as I continue going through this verse. And we are learned in its language and teachings. What are the teachings? The teachings is the Most High's instructions, the laws. So Isaiah is saying, how can you say we're applying the laws properly and that we even know what the laws are? And that we even know the language, right? Because obviously they don't, right? Next, it follows. Jeremiah continues, behold, meaning the truth is that The lying pen of the scribes have made the law into a lie. That's right. So the scribes, our ancestors, these people who were responsible for translating the law, wrote lies. They wrote lies into it. Okay, not only did they write lies into it, but what else did they do? They made the law into a lie. Religion. They made law into religion. And that takes us into our book, The Devil's Pulpit. Okay, so we're going to see right now, we're going to see Christianity, which is one of the religions that our ancestors started, created. All right, Christianity. First, it was Judaism, Christianity, then Islam. All right, all creations. All right, so I would highly recommend that if you're involved in any type of religion, even if it's Hebrew Israelites, right, and they're functioning like a religion, they use religious titles, they use religious language, okay, they act in a religious way. I would strongly consider that you think about this. If it acts like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck, regardless of what they say. If it acts like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck, regardless of what they say. So we have to start using our brains. All right. So here we go. Here we are. Let's get into the book. This is the Devil's Pulpit. Correlate this with Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8, as always, right? So here we go. I'm going to begin the reading with the first, with the verse here. I'll begin reading with the verse right here. All right. Okay, so this is part 2 of Rising the Devil. Okay, this is part 2 of Rising the Devil. All right. Now, remember in the last video, I think it was number 13, the author gave his viewpoint that the devil is not real. Okay, he's not real. It's just a fairy tale. He also says that the Tetragrammaton is not real, just a fairy tale. Okay, and do recall also that in the last video, I think it was number 14. I don't remember. Number 14 is what I'm talking about, y'all. The author also says, I brought to your attention that the author says that the Black priesthood took him to court, had him put in jail for exposing the information that is written in this book. Okay, and then they called him a devil. They called him a devil, right? For exposing the secret society information that this is all astronomy or astrology in the New Testament. Okay, that's where the name the Devil's Pulpit comes from, because he's making a mockery of the Black priesthood. In other words, smearing it back in their faces. All right, so there's no spookism here. There's no spookism. Okay, there's no devil promotion or anything like that happening. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead with the reading. Let me get this up. Excuse me. So here we go. Then was Jesus led up, excuse me. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. That's quoted from Matthew chapter 4, verse 1. Bring me up, sirs, the benefit of your remembrance of the great discoveries we have made in the stable of Bethlehem. So the stable of Bethlehem, we dealt with that in the first, the first 2 videos. we dealt with this topic. So we're going to go back and just do a review. I'm going to show you those some of those slides again. All right, so let's continue. Bring me up, sirs, the benefit of your remembrance of the great discoveries we made in the stable of Bethlehem. So the author is telling us, go back and look at the pages about the Star of Bethlehem. Okay, that's where he discusses the stable of Bethlehem. So call it back to memory. That's what he's saying here. Where I show you the infant Jesus in the precise position of Jupiter in the stable of Aquarius, suckled by a goat. So now let's take a look at those images. All right, so let's pull our PowerPoint up, and then we can take a look at it. So give me 1 second. Let me pull it up, get the PowerPoint so I can refresh your memories on this topic. All right. So let's get oriented in time and space and context. All right, let's get oriented. Okay, so here we are. Excuse me. So let me find the, all right. Let me just find our slides here. All right, so here we are. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the stable. This is what a stable looks like. So imagine you have a bunch of horses or other animals in a stable. All right, so this is what that manger, a stable is a manger. Okay, this is how that's going to look. You see all the dirt and filth. Imagine all of the horse poop or whatever kind of animals, the goats, their poop. Imagine how the smell that's in this stable and how filthy it is. All right, now remember, the Christ figure was born in a stable. So the author wants us to call this to mind. All right. Excuse me. So this is where the infant Jesus was born. Okay, now that was in December. Okay, that was in December. So now let's take a look at this. All right, so this is Jupiter. Okay, so this is the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. This happens on December 21st, but that's not of concern to us right now. What's of concern to us right now, excuse me, what's of concern to us right now is Jupiter here. All right, so this is the position of Jupiter when the Christ figure was born in December. Okay, this is Capricorn, or the goat. Capricornus is the goat. Give me a second, y'all. So let me get y'all, let's get oriented with the stars so we can understand what the author is saying to us. Okay, so here we are again. This is Jupiter. Okay, this is the constellation called Capricorn. This is the Capricorn. Okay, so we see the position, their relationship to each other. Look right above here. We see Aquarius. This is the water bearer. This is Aquarius, the water bearer. We learned before that the water bearer is John the Baptist, right? John the Baptist, who went baptizing in water. Go back and watch the last, I think, 2 videos. You'll learn about that. This is John the Baptist, the water bearer, and this is the constellation Aquarius. Aquarius. Okay, in December, this is the Christ figure, right? But that's in 1 or 2 videos ago. You'll understand that, okay? Or in the last chapter of the book, you'll read about this, okay? So here we are. I have oriented you celestially. Now you know what the author is talking about. All right, we'll take another look. Now remember, Capricornus is a goat. Capricornus is a goat. And here's the stable. that the goat is in. So this is the visual imagery that you need to have in mind to follow the author and to understand him. All right. So again, this is Capricornus, the goat, and the scene that's taking place in the Gospels are taking place when the Christ figure was born. The Star of Bethlehem are taking place inside of this stable. This is the fifth labor of Aquarius. The fifth labor of Aquarius. That'll make more sense later, okay? So now let's take another look. I hope you all remember this image from a couple of videos ago. Here we're looking at Aquarius. Let me scroll up a little bit. Let me reduce this down so you can see the whole thing on the screen. Let's just go to presentation mode, see if it's better. All right, yeah. So here we are. So this is Aquarius. His head is crossing the celestial equator. That's this horizontal line right here. This occurs every June 24th. This is the barrel that's carrying the water, and you see the water coming out. So he's baptizing in water. Aquarius is baptizing in water. John the Baptist is baptizing in water. And then over here, let me change the pointer style. I want to draw your attention to Capricorn. Okay, so let me point out Capricorn. So here you'll see the cursor here. So this is Capricornus. He's a goat. Okay, correlate these with the slide we just looked at. This is Capricornus. Now Capricornus is where? In the stable, the manger, the stable of Aquarius, which is the fifth labor, right? The fifth labor of Aquarius. All right. This line right here, this is the celestial equator. Okay. And this line going here, this is the celestial horizon. Everybody see that? So now Aquarius head crosses this equatorial line, and it is metaphorically cut off or beheaded. Hence, John the Baptist gets beheaded. All right, John the Baptist gets beheaded, and John the Baptist is born again on June 21st, 24th. Go back to the other lessons, last class. All right, to get to refresh your memory on that, or if you haven't seen it. So here we are again, Capricornus, Aquarius, and Jupiter. Now let's return to our text. Okay, let's go back to the book. Excuse me. We'll go back to the book. Y'all bear with me as I learn how to use this software and get used to it. Okay. So I'm moving kind of slow because I'm new to this software. All right. So bear with me. I'm doing the best I can. All right. So here we go. Here we go. Now let's start from the top. Bring me up, sirs, the benefit of your remembrance. That means I want you to remember. To your remembrance of the great discoveries. See, you didn't know what you just learned before, right? So these were the great discoveries. We just looked at the images. All right. So bring back to your remembrance the great discoveries we have made in the stable of Bethlehem, where I showed you the infant Jesus in the precise position of Jupiter. So we saw Jupiter, right? The infant Jesus would have been there where we saw Jupiter. Matter of fact, let me show that again so that that's clear to everybody. Let me show that again so that that's clear to everyone, okay? We're just going to go back and look at Jupiter, and then we'll get back. We'll get back to the text. All right. So the Christ figure here is Jupiter. Christ figure is here. All right. This is the relative positions of everything. All right. So now let's go back to the text. Hey, y'all, it's a lot of work trying to find these images. Okay, believe that. It's a lot of work trying to find these images. All right. They don't make it easy. Okay. All right. So I showed you the infant Jesus in the precise position of Jupiter in the stable of Augeas, suckled by a goat. All right. So I've shown you those images. So Jesus was being suckled by the goat. Okay. We went through that. Now let's move forward. Let me position the document up. All right. Next paragraph. That Capricornus, the goat of December, rendering over his charge to Aquarius. Okay, so Capricornus, the goat, was giving his duties and responsibilities to Aquarius, the water bearer. That is John the Baptist. Okay, and John the Baptist is the Baptist of January, right? John the Baptist of January. John must unbind the frost of winter. John must unbind the frost of winter, and with descending rains must baptize the capital God of day, ere he can enter fully unto his ministry, as he saith in character, suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. That is, quote, thus we must observe the most accurate astronomical analogies and make over, let me repeat that, and make our magical spell a perfect diagram of the visible heavens. So now let's go into this to decipher what John is saying here. Now remember, John is Aquarius that we looked at in the PowerPoint. John is Aquarius, the Baptist of January. Okay. So John is coming when? John is coming to shift winter into spring. Shift winter into spring. Let's read it. It says here, let me get the pointer there so y'all can see it. It says, John must unbind the frosts of winter, and with descending rains. The rains come in the spring, right? The rains come in the spring, and the temperature gets warmer so that the snow begins to melt. Okay, so John unbinds the frost. Okay, so the temperatures are increasing, it's getting warmer, right? So transitioning from winter to spring. That's what's being said here. And with descending rains, Aquarius is the water bearer. You saw the water coming out of his barrel or his jug of water, right? Also, John comes baptizing with water, meaning that Aquarius and John, who are the same astrologically, are making it rain. Okay, the spring rains. That's what this is referring to. See, this is all about nature. There's no spookism here. No spookism here. This is nature. In fact, this is natural law, isn't it? Because we know the seasons are coming and we know what's going to happen every season, right? It's going to be snow in the winter, cold in the winter. In the spring, it's going to get warmer. There's going to be rain. Summer, it gets hot. That's the hottest part of the year. In the fall, it starts to cool down and it starts to go toward winter. Okay, so this is every year. So there's no spookism here. No devils and demons. Okay, so don't be scared. Now let's continue. John must unbind the frost of winter, and with descending rains must baptize the capital God of day. Okay, he must baptize the capital God of day ere he can enter fully on his ministry. As he saith in character, suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. The key phrase is fulfill all righteousness. Keep that phrase in mind. Fulfill all righteousness. So what the heck is John talking about? What the heck is this author talking about? And what is John doing? Let's continue reading. That is, thus must we observe most accurate astronomical analogies. Y'all saw those astronomical images, right? You saw the constellations. This is what he's talking about. Thus must we observe the most accurate astronomical analogies and make our magical spell a perfect diagram of the visible heavens. What is the author talking about? None other than the Gospels. He's saying that they have to write a story in the Gospels. This is the analogy. Those stories have to perfectly reflect the celestial map that we see above our heads, right? They call it astronomy and astrology. The Gospels have to tell a story that perfectly expresses or communicates the movement of the sun through each of the 12 zodiac signs all year, every year. And also, it has to reflect all of the constellations. Okay? This is what the author is talking about. Now let's continue. Let's continue. He continues to say, now remember, I want y'all to focus on, he says, magical spell. What's that magical spell? These are the incantations that the author was talking about early on in the videos. Okay, so if y'all don't remember what these incantations are, go back and watch all of the videos that came before this. One of the things you're going to learn is that gospel means God's spell, okay? And God's spell, charm, incantation. And the priest would perform incantations, okay, a ritual. And then that ritual, the purpose of that ritual was to get the deity, this is the Black Prince, the divine master, to get the Black Prince, the divine master, to give the priest, the rabbi, the Moshe, unlimited power over you. Unlimited power over you, over your mind and your body. Go back and watch those videos. All right. So this is the magical spell that he's talking about. All right. So let's continue. Let's continue. This is serious business, y'all. This is really, really serious business. This whole thing about New Testament, Old Testament, well, I tell you what, you better be very, very careful. You better be very, very careful about what you believe in stepping into the New Testament. And you don't know any of this information as of now. You haven't known anything, okay? You better be very careful and take a look around your life. Take a look around your life and see if you have chaos, crazy stuff happening. I'm just saying, educate yourself, reevaluate everything that you've done up until this point in your life, because you never thought about it, most likely. You just accepted it. I'm talking about 99.99% of the people. They take a religion or they believe in a power, a deity, only because that's what was introduced to them when they were young. But they never investigated. And I do mean investigate like we're doing right now. From a linguistic point of view, at most, some of you have maybe read some history. Or the usual case is you came in contact with Hebrew Israelites and they started precepting things out and introducing you to certain historical facts, right? But you never took a look at it linguistically, scientifically. Well, let me tell you, what you're going to find in this book is science, and it will cause you to have to rethink everything that you know right now. All right? And there's nothing wrong with using your brain. You can accept the Gospels or the New Testament or reject them. That's not the issue. The issue is that you make that decision based upon science and not religion, because religion is just beliefs, okay? And I've shown, especially in my Saturday 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time class, this author has shown in this book that's what's written in the original language is not always what's written in the English, okay? And they're going to put in English whatever they want to put there to create precepts. So you can be talking about precept this out, not knowing that in the original language, it doesn't say that. There's actually no precept, right? So you're being made a fool. As the author said, Christianity was designed to make intelligent people into fools, cowards, and slaves, right? In other words, stakes on the table for those people who know to feed and live off of you. And you are happy letting them do it. That's what's happening here. Hey, y'all, like and share the video. Let's get more people in. Let me check the chat here. Give me 1 second. Let me check the chat. Share out the video, please. Let's see. All right. So John Walker. Okay. Thanks, John. Thanks, man. All right. So here we go. Let's continue. Let's continue. We will start here. All right. And therefore, says John the Baptist, quote, that he might be made manifest to Israel. That is, that the sun, S-U-N, might come to shine forth in the zodiac. Okay? Come, I baptize thee with water. Let me read that again. Quote, that he might be made manifest to Israel. Unquote. That is, that the sun, S-U-N, might come to shine forth in the zodiac. Quote, came I baptizing with water. So that's the purpose that John came baptizing with water. He just told us the purpose, right? So that the sun can shine forth in the zodiac. All right, now let's see what else the author has to say on this topic. Let's continue. And thus again, in character, our genius of the month of January, J-O-H-N-U-A-R-Y, right? And thus again, in character, our genius of the month of January, seeing Jesus at a distance, that is, at a month's distance in Aries. So now y'all remember the slides we looked at, okay? We saw Aries, right? A month's distance in Aries, the ram of March, he exclaimed, behold, the Lamb of God. Let me rephrase that. Not God, it's Gad, G-A-D. Behold, the Lamb of Gad, G-A-D, that taketh away the sins of the world, end quote. That is, that rectifying the unevenness of day and night of the zodiac. What is rectifying the unevenness of day and night? Well, the number of hours of daylight were not equal to the number of hours of darkness. That's what he's talking about. So now let's read it again. John sees Jesus at a distance, that is, at a month's distance away, in the zodiac sign Aries. Aries is the ram of March. John exclaims, or John says, behold, the Lamb of Gad, G-A-D, that taketh away the sin of the world, end quote. That is, that rectifying the unevenness of day and night of the zodiac, which in astronomical language is the world. and gives an equal length of day and night to the whole earth. And here we see the text in the original Greek, right? Or what they say is the original Greek. So what are we looking at? That's the equinox. Let me show y'all what this is. Let's get oriented so you can have a mental image of what is being spoken of here. Okay, so let me pull it back up. All right, so let's show it. Let's show it. Again, here's Aquarius. All right, here's Aquarius. Here's Capricornus, and here's Jupiter. Now, let's go to the next slide. Let me put this in presentation mode. All right, we'll get our pointer together, and we will take a look, make it do what it do. So again, here's Capricorn, and then here's Aquarius. Here's Aquarius. Now, this is a map. This is all of the zodiac signs. These are the constellations, right? Remember a couple videos ago, the author said you have to know how to connect these figures so that you can make the constellations. And if you can connect these figures, when you look up into the night sky, it no longer looks like a wilderness, right? But you can make sense of it. So according to the author was saying that you need to understand how to create these constellations, which stars to connect to each other, okay? And then the Gospels will begin to open up to you and make sense. You'll be able to see the astrology in it. Okay, so now let's come out of that. Let me show you the picture of the ram. All right, give me 1 second. Here we are. I see it. Yeah, here we are. So here's Aries the ram. Okay, so here's Aries the ram. Again, this is Aries the ram, and this is the ecliptic, this line right here. All right, so we're just getting oriented. Okay, so give me 1 second, y'all. Let me go back. Let me take a look at the PDF so I can remember what I am doing. Behold the Lamb of God that taketh away the sins of the world, that is rectifying. Oh, okay, so I need to show y'all. The equinoxes, right? We need to see the equinoxes. So let me see if I can find one of these that has the equinox real quick. Oh, here we are. Okay, so this is the autumn equinox. Let's put it in presentation mode. All right, so let's get oriented so we can understand better what the author is talking about. This is the autumn equinox. So this is the fall equinox. And down here, you see the summer or the vernal equinox. All right, now take a look. So this is the vernal equinox right here, this black dot. This is the fall or the autumn equinox, this black dot. Now you draw a straight line from here to here. From here to here, these are the equinoxes, okay? These are the equinoxes. Now, this is the celestial equator, okay? Now, take a look at this circle right here. Y'all see this circle right here? All right. You'll see that this is 23.5 degrees, and this is 23.5 degrees. This is the coffee belt, all right? This is the coffee belt. This is the equator on Earth, all right? So your equator, 23.5 north and south, right? All right, so that's where we are at. Zero is the equator, 23.5 north and south. That's going to be Capricorn and Cancer. All right, so this is what the author is talking about. All right, so now let's go back to our document. Okay. Let's go back to the document and continue. 1 second. All right. So let's continue. Here we are. Oops. Here we are. All right. So let's continue. I'll continue with the reading. All right. So that is the rectifying the unevenness of day and night of the zodiac. So remember, in the winter, the nighttime hours are longer than the daytime hours. So that needs to be made even. That's what he's saying. And that it's made even at the vernal equinox that we looked at, okay? 23.5 north, 0 degrees, and 23.5 south. You'll have equal number of daylight hours and nighttime hours at the vernal equinox. All right, so now let's continue. Which in astronomical language is the world and gives an equal length of day and night to the whole earth. Why, sirs, it is a sarcasm and a pun on language to suppose an allusion to such idiot cry, as the conceit of taking away the criminality of the crimes of men. In other words, if you take that literally, it doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, when behold the Lamb of Gad, G-A-D, that taketh away the sin of the world, he's saying that this doesn't make literal sense. All right, that's what he's saying. Cannot take away the literal crimes of men. Okay, now let's continue. From which analogy, the world, that is, the constellations which make up the great circle of the heavens. So we looked at each of those 12, each of the constellations, remember? That's the world. According to the author, all of those constellations, that's the world. From which analogy, the world, that is, all constellations which make up the great circle of the heavens, are astronomically allegorized as paying him their adoration in that sublime mysticy. This is he. Let me rephrase that. This is his name, whereby he shall be called the capital Lord, our righteousness. But how can he be brought into the world, or be led up into that wilderness or jumble of confusion, which the starry canopy of the heavens present to the untutored eye? So y'all remember the slide we looked at, right? It was the starry heavens, and there were no constellations drawn into them. Remember that? All right. So now let's continue. How? But by the Spirit, that holy gust, capital G-U-S-T, that rushing mighty wind, which is necessarily not made, nor created, nor begotten, but proceeding, eternally and necessarily proceeding from the rapid and eternal motion of the whole solar system. So in other words, the author is saying the zodiac signs, right, the constellations, they're constantly moving in a circular fashion. And that movement creates a wind. Okay, that movement creates the wind. So if you want to know an example or try this for yourself, lift your arm up and move your hand through the air, and you'll feel wind, right? You're creating wind. Or if you fan yourself, you're creating wind. Why is that? Because there are gases in the air, right? So the movement causes these gases to move. So as the zodiacs, they're 12, as they move in the heavens, it causes a wind. And what is that wind? According to the author, that's the Holy Ghost. Okay? Correlate that with the Ibaryath meaning of spirit, wind, breath. All right, so now let's continue. It reads, it continues to read, how but by the Spirit, how but by the Spirit, that holy gust, G-U-S-T, that rushing mighty wind, which is necessarily, quote, not made, nor created, nor begotten, but preceding, end quote, eternally and necessarily preceding from the rapid and eternal motion of the whole solar system, wheeling unshaken through the void immense, end of quote, with a velocity that beggars all power of numbers. Now let's go and read this. Let me put this up. Let me scroll down so y'all can see this. So according to the author, the Holy Ghost is just the wind that's created by the zodiacs moving through the heavens. All right, the constant movement, the constant circular movement creates a wind, and that is the Holy Ghost. All right, so now let's continue with the quote. So late described by Herschel's piercing sight, hang the bright squadrons of the twinkling night. 10,000 marshaled stars, a silver zone, effuse their blended radiance round her throne. Suns, S-U-N-S, call to suns, S-U-N-S, and lucid orbs conspire, and light exterior worlds with golden fire. Let's go into the next paragraph. And what might the allegorical non-entity whose lowest position was the stable of his nativity in the sign of Capricornus, the goat. They're talking about the Christ figure, right? In the position of Jupiter. So have that slide in mind. Immediately after having been baptized by Aquarius, the water bearer, necessarily have to pass through before he can enter upon his ministry and come at what all the gospel ministers are marching after, the mutton of March and the beef of April. Why? He must live upon fish. And there they are for him in the pavilion of February, extending their scaly influence more or less over 40 days and 40 nights. That's the 40 days and 40 nights that Christ was in the wilderness, right? The Christ figure. During which poor Jesus is in the plight of, quote, out of work and nothing coming in, end quote. Okay, so now let's discuss this paragraph just a little bit. It says here, well, let's show the slide so you all can, I'll do right by you. I will show the slide. All right. So let's go back to the PowerPoint and show the slide. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me get this together. So I'll show you the slide. All right. So here we go. You should see it now. You should see it now. Okay, so here is Capricorn. Here is Aries. Here is Pisces. I believe Pisces is the fish. Now let's go take a look back at the slide we looked at a little while ago. All right. So here's Jupiter. This is the Christ figure just below Capricornus. All right. So let me see if there's anything else I want to show in this. Oh, okay. All right. So let's go back here. We need to take a look at this image here. Okay, so again, this is Aquarius, the water bearer, right? The water that John talked about, baptizing, the rains coming down in the spring. Okay, the rains coming down in the spring. Here's the water. This is John the Baptist. Okay, this is Capricornus. Okay, and then Jupiter would have been down here. All right, Jupiter would have been down here beneath Capricornus. So that's what the author is talking about. This is the celestial map, or part of the celestial map that the author is talking about. Okay, so Capricornus, the goat, immediately after having been baptized by Aquarius. So Capricornus, the goat, immediately being baptized by Aquarius, the water bearer, necessarily have to pass through before he can enter upon his ministry. What ministry? The Christ figure ministry or John's ministry? And come at what all the gospel ministers are marching after, the mutton of March. Okay, so that would be the vernal equinox. Okay, the equal at the vernal equinox. Remember we looked at that? equal number of daylight hours and darkness hours. Okay. And the beef of April, why? He must live upon fish. All right. And there they are for him in the pavilion of February, extending their scarily influence more or less over 40 days and 40 nights, during which poor Jesus is in the plight of out of work and nothing coming in. All right, so that's what's happening. And again, we looked at Pisces, right? Is Pisces fish, y'all? Let me see. I have a list of these zodiacs. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it quickly. So let me see. What is this? All right. I have to come back to it, y'all. Let's see, Pisces. Where is Pisces? Cancer, Gemini. Yeah, I believe Pisces is the fish. So that's where the fish comes in. Okay, that's where the fish comes in, right? The Gospel's constant refers to fish all the time. Okay, now let's go back to the document and continue. We go back to our book, The Devil's Pulpit. And remember, this is the author's work I'm reading. His opinions are not necessarily my opinions. If you've been watching the video, you will see that. If you've been watching all of the series, you'll see that his opinions are not always my opinions. All right, so now let's go. All right, so here we are. We're at the highlight. So let me scroll down a little bit and then we'll continue. All right. He has all that idle time upon his hands, and the proverb somewhat musty, but when my master finds an idle man, so he's talking about his master, I believe he's talking about the devil, he generally sets him to work. He was very low-spirited. This is the Christ figure. And so, like all other low-spirited fellows, he was preparing to enter upon the ministry. And as of course, he would want a private tutor for that business, the business of the ministry, right? He put himself to school to the devil. All right, well, let's see if he can prove this point. Christ figure is saying he learned from the devil. Let's see if this is true. Now, remember, the author is telling an astronomical story, right? According to the author, these are all fairy tales in the gospel. So let's continue. So don't get offended or angry. Let's continue to the next paragraph. How rough and seemingly, sirs, are these husks and shells. So the husks and shells, that's religion and religious doctrine. How rough and unseemingly, sirs, are these husks and shells, on which the swine do feed. So the pigs are feeding on husks and shells. In other words, lowly people or uneducated, stupid people, to use his words, are into religion. That's what he's saying here. How rich the pearls of science. The science that he's referring to is astronomy, linguistics, philology, so on and so forth. In other words, those things that we observe in nature, such as the laws that govern language, which would be linguistics, right? And the laws that govern the movement of the stars. So that's astrology or astronomy. That's what he's talking about. How rich the pearls of science, for the throwing of a few of which, before the Christian herd, the Christian clergy, have read to me the sentence of my faith. Quote, capital God shall suddenly shoot at me with the swift arrow, that I shall be wounded. Oh, how suddenly shall I consume, perish, and come to a fearful end. All right, so this is what the religious people are saying, that because this author is using science applied to the Gospels, that the deity, I guess the tetragrammaton here, the Christ figure, they're going to kill the author. That's what he's saying, because he's not going along with the religion. These priests and their clergy, well, the clergy and their congregation are telling the author he's going to be killed because he don't believe. That's basically what's happening here. I know it. I know it. I know it. I know it will be so, but be my epitaph. Quote, the man who loved truth more than he feared death and hated Christianity more than he loved life. All right. So the author is saying, well, he'll give his life for this because he loves science and he wants to free people from mental bondage of Christianity, from religion. Okay. So that's what he's saying there. Next paragraph. We'll scroll down. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let's finish scrolling. All right. But your minds once awakened from the drunkard dream of faith, but your minds once awakened from the drunken dream of faith. Think about that. Think about it drunk. When you look at a person who's drunk, usually they're not walking properly, right? They're stumbling when they speak. Maybe they're stumbling through their speech, right? Their eyes, you can look in their eyes, you can tell that they're drunk or high, right? Their perceptions are off. Depending on what kind of drunk they are, they're going to be either what? Angry drunk, you know, that danger, you know, the kind of guy who's friendly when he's not drunk, but as soon as he starts drinking, he gets, you know, gets a little bit violent, gets angry. The other end of the spectrum would be the happy drunk. You know, maybe when you see them during the day, they're a little bit depressed, right? But when they start drinking, they get happy, right? And then what else happens when people are drunks? They lose all sense of inhibition, right? They'll have sex with anybody. They'll say anything. They start talking, telling all their business or gossiping, right? Loose lips. Okay, so drunk. Have these things in mind. Okay, now let me read it again. But your mind once awakened from the drunken dream of faith. The author is saying that because you believe Christianity or whatever religion you're in, okay, Judaism, he says you're mentally drunk. So have the image of the drunk person, you know, how they smell, how they look, how they behave when they're drunk compared to when they're not drunk. Have that in mind, all right? But your minds, once awakened from the drunken dream of faith, so if you're religious, you're drunk intellectually, awakened to the sober realities of reason, the realities of science, that would be nature, the natural laws that govern nature, okay? Once you're awakened to the sober realities of reason, your mind will run rapidly, faster than demonstration can keep up with you through the solution of the astronomical riddles of the labors of the sun, which constitute the whole substantive sense and the original and entire meaning alike of the pagan, Jewish. Now, y'all notice that Judaism, pagan, Jewish, and Christian mythology, alike of the Shastras, Vedas, and Puranas of the East, and of both the Old and New Testament. Think Jeremiah 8, verse 8. Of our accidental world. So the author is telling us that if you apply science, okay, philology, linguistics, etymology, read the church fathers' own writings, look at the appropriate or relevant mythological stories, take all of these things together, and you're going to see that you have been indoctrinated. You have been indoctrinated into believing and being afraid of and hoping for things that don't really exist in the real world. Fairy tales, all right? Stuff that the Black priesthood made up to capture your imagination and convert you into their slave, giving them money, right? Tithing, double tithing, triple tithing, okay? Having you hope, having you feel guilty so you can keep coming back. Maybe you don't want to go back, but you don't know what else to do because you don't have a better option. So you stay in that religion. Or maybe you stop going for a couple years, but then you always find yourself going back, but you know it's something wrong. You get out of Christianity, you get into the Hebrew Israelites, you're happy for a minute because you think you found the truth. And then 6 months, a year, 2 years into it, you start to see that they are worse than the Christians. Because at least in the Christian church, this is what I've been told. This wasn't true in the religion I was in, but from what I'm told about the Christians, there are people in the Christian church who will help you, right? They'll help you. But from what I'm told about the camps, the assemblies, the churches, ain't nobody gonna help you, right? They're as worse as the churches, even worse, I guess, because you can't turn to anybody for help. Whereas in the Christian church, at least you can turn to somebody for help. This is what I'm told, right? In the religion that I was in, like the Christian religion I was in, they wouldn't help you, right? And they had verses, precepts to explain why you're on your own, okay? But you are helping them, right? By preaching, going out in the ministry, however many hours, 90 hours, 60 hours, 40 hours, right? Your free time, you're studying, doing Bible studies, trying to get other people in, right? But then they got an excuse as to why they won't help you when you need help. You ain't been there long enough, right? Whatever type of excuse. Well, what about your time? When you are doing the work to learn, to benefit that camp, that church, that assembly, that doesn't have value, right? You got to be there a certain number of years or whatever. But even if you're there a certain number of years, they're going to have another excuse for you as to why they're not going to do nothing for you. But that's another story. So let's continue. Last paragraph on this page. And why are those most beautiful, incomparably beautiful and sublime compositions? He's talking about these written works, right? These are holy books, okay? These are holy books, all right? And why are those most beautiful, incomparably beautiful and sublime compositions, which you call the Psalms of David, divided into 30 or 31 portions? Okay, so he's talking about the Psalms, okay? To be enchanted, right? Again, the Psalms, why are they divided into 30 or 31 portions? To be enchanted not enchanted, enchanted. The Psalms are to be enchanted morning and evening for every day of the month through the 12 months of the year. But, so here's the answer. So the question is, why are they in 30 or 31 portions? And why are they to be enchanted? Here's the answer. But because they are indeed the songs of Zion, Zion, i.e. of the zodiac, detailing, hold on, let's see, detailing mystic allegories, all the grand vicissitudes of the year, the joys and sorrows, dejections and elevations, conflicts and victories of the true David, the Son, S-U-N. Okay, so the Psalms are, according to the author, also wholly astronomical. Okay, let's read it again. Let's read it again. Give me 1 second here. But because they indeed, the song of Zion, Z-I-O-N, for example, of the zodiac, detailing mystic allegories, all the grand vicissitudes of the year. Okay, so the seasons, right? The joys and sorrows, dejections and elevations. So dejections would be downward movement, elevations, upward movement, conflicts and victories of the true David, the Son, S-U-N. So the author is saying that David is the Son, S-U-N, the true Son, who is disappearing in winter. So the sun disappears in winter, hoping in spring. Okay, so the sun is reappearing in spring, right? That's why the days are getting longer. Triumphing in summer. The sun is the king in summer. That's why summer is the hottest season of the year. And dejected in autumn. So the sun begins to go down in autumn. And so we see that why? Because the temperature begins to become more cool. The days get shorter, right? The plant life begins to die off and you get the autumn colored leaves, so on and so forth, right? Let's continue. And according to the predicaments of his physical phenomena, himself addresses or is addressed in the beautiful adaptations of the allegories. So the Psalms, according to the author, are allegories. Okay, so y'all agree with this, disagree with it? In my opinion, at this point, he has not made the case, but I'm assuming he's going to make the case as we move forward. All right, so let's continue. Who then, in this congruity, must necessarily be at once his guide and tutor, and yet his constant adversary. Y'all remember that from a couple videos ago, right? The constant adversary, Aquarius, at 11 o'clock. Leo the lion at 5 o'clock. You draw a straight line right there on opposite sides, opposing sides, directly opposing direct adversaries. Okay, King Herod is Leo the lion, and King Herod beheads Aquarius. Remember that? King Herod beheads John the Baptist. Aquarius is beheaded when his line crosses over that horizontal line that you looked at in the celestial map. Remember, the celestial equator is the beheading of Aquarius, therefore the beheading of John the Baptist. All right, who then in this congruity must necessarily be at once his guide and tutor, and yet his constant adversary. Constant adversary, keep that in mind. But the adverse sign, and we see the Greek word there, that is the diametrically opposite sign, the devil, who is up when he is down, and down when he is up, who therefore, in allegorical language, tempts him. Who is this him? This is JC, right? The Christ figure of the New Testament. Okay, so in allegorical language, tempts him through the wilderness, i.e., goes before him through the signs of the zodiac. And having led him to the top of that exceedingly high mountain, that is the sun's highest point of ascension, the Tropic of Cancer, the 21st of June, whose Hebrew name is Thomas, the very name you will observe of him among the 12 apostles, who was a crabbed, incredulous fellow, and had more than half a mind to go back again. He addresses him in that accurately astronomical problem. Quote, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me, end quote. All right, so now let's take a look at these. All right, let me take a look in the chat. All right, let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show the images, y'all, in a second, okay? Yashe says, drunks always repeat themselves. Here in Boulder County, Colorado, I just speak to the other Hebrews who are woke from the Most High. We help each other. We don't need church to help. Men stand up. That's right, man. That's right. All praises. That's right. Men stand up. Men stand up. That's right. We don't need these religions. The religions, in my opinion, I always tell people that religion is the major problem facing our people. Religion and religion alone. That's the major. If we can just get our people out of religion, we can begin to recover. All right, so now let's take a look at a few things, okay? Oh, so let me make sure that the screen is sharing. I'm trying to share the PowerPoint, y'all. Give me a second. Let me take a look at this. Is it? Hold on. No, wait. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me get the PowerPoint up so we can get oriented. All right. I hope y'all are enjoying this. I hope you're learning, really, really learning, really, really do. All right. So here's the sun. The sun is in the center. So let's go to presentation mode. So let's get oriented again. All right. Get our screen pointer going. So this is the sun right here. Okay. We're looking at the sun. Now, this circle right here, this is the earth, the position of the earth relative to the sun in the month of March. All right. We go to the opposite side. This is the sun in the fall. This is the sun in the fall. So now if you draw a line from the earth in its position here to here, this is the equinox. In March, this is the vernal equinox. They're equal numbers of daytime and nighttime hours. So 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of nighttime, or 12 hours of darkness. This occurs in March. All right, this is spring. This is the vernal equinox. Okay, now we go draw a straight line, go to the other side. When the sun is in this position, okay, this is the fall equinox. Okay, this is happening sometime in August. All right, sometime in August. All right. Now, when the sun is here, I'm sorry, when the earth, these little dots are the earth. When the earth is here, this is June. In June, I think it's the 21st, or when did he say this is the zenith that the author spoke about? When the sun reaches the highest point in the sky. All right. That's the zenith. That's the exceedingly high mountain in the story about JC's temptation. The devil took Jesus up to an exceedingly high mountain. So that's happening here. This is the zenith in June. This is the summer solstice. This is the highest point of the sun. This is the exceedingly high mountain. Now let's go here. This is the earth's position in December. This is the earth's position in December. Now let's go down here. This is the lowest point. This is the lowest point that the sun will reach during the year. It occurs in December. In December, what happens? This is happening somewhere around December 21st to December 22nd. The sun will reach its lowest point. Okay, so this is when the maximum number of darkness hours occur every year. So there's the maximum number of darkness hours during the day and the minimum number of daylight hours during the day. Okay, so this is the winter solstice. So this is the adversary, the direct adversary. Y'all see it now? It's the direct adversary. Let me see how the author refers to this. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, Yeah, so y'all can see that these are diametrically opposed. So the sun is at its lowest point here in December, and it's at its highest point here in June, okay, around June 21st. So they're diametrically opposed to each other, diametrically opposed to each other. So therefore, they are direct opposites. So here, when the sun reaches its lowest point, this is Satan the devil. This is Satan the devil when the sun reaches its lowest point, and this is Jesus Christ, okay? The sun at its zenith, right? So if you can imagine, as the earth goes around the sun, you see here, follow the red cursor. As the earth goes around the sun, it's as if, so starting here, okay, so here's Satan, here's the devil. The devil is moving this way, right? So what's happening to the Christ figure? As the devil moves that way, the Christ figure, what? Moves this way, okay? As if when the devil is moving this way, he's causing the Christ figure to move this way, all right? So that's what's happening here. Now let me read it again so you all can get a better understanding now that you see it. It reads, who then in this congruity must necessarily be at once his guide and tutor. So now do y'all see why the devil is said to be Jesus' guide? Because the devil is moving this way, and then Jesus is following by moving this way. So whatever the devil does, Jesus is doing. Why? Because this is moving in a circle, right? The earth is moving in a circle. It's moving across its orbit. That's why. So the devil is Jesus' tutor, because again, when the devil moves this way, Jesus moves this way too. All right, so now let's continue. It says here, his guide and tutor, and yet his constant adversary, right? Why constant adversary? Again, because here's Jesus, okay? And the devil is at the opposite line, opposite end of the same line, see? So they're opposites. They're on opposite ends, the extreme opposite end of this line, okay? This is the zenith, the hottest day of the year. This is the lowest point of the year. So this is Satan, this is Jesus. They're opposites, therefore adversary. All right, constant adversary. In other words, it's constant because this position, this holds true for eternity. It holds true for eternity. That's just the way the system is designed, right? So there are constant adversaries, but the adverse sign, that adverse sign is that lowest point, okay? That adverse sign, and we see the Greek word, that is the diametrically opposite sign, the devil. That's right here, okay, where the cursor is. Who is up when he is down, okay? Who is up when he is down, all right? Why? Because they're moving in a circle, right? Okay. Who is up when he is down, and down when he is Jesus, right? JC is up. Who therefore in allegorical language tempts Jesus, okay, through the wilderness, i.e., or to clarify, the devil goes before him through the signs of the zodiac. Okay, so the devil is going before Jesus through the signs of the zodiac. Okay, so again, when the devil moves this way, Jesus moves this way in equal distance, in the same direction in equal distance. Why? Because the earth is going around in a circle, right? The earth is going around in a circle. All right, so I hope that's clear. Let me just give you a little bit more. Okay, so the diametrically opposite sign, the devil, who is up when he, that is Jesus, is down, and down when Jesus is up. who therefore in allegorical language tempts Jesus through the wilderness. To clarify, the devil goes before Jesus through the signs of the zodiac, and having led Jesus to the top of that exceedingly high mountain, that's here, that's the zenith. That is the sun's highest point on the ascension. So this is the Tropic of Cancer. Everybody see that? That's the Tropic of Cancer. That is the sun's highest point of ascension, the Tropic of Cancer, the 21st of June, whose Hebrew name is Thomas. Okay, Tropic of Cancer in Hebrew is Thomas. Now we should remember the story about doubting Thomas, right? Doubting Thomas. Okay, so the very name you will observe of him among the 12 apostles. All right, so now let's go back to the PDF. All right, let's go back to the PDF, and I'm going to check for comments. If you haven't commented, put some comments in the chat. Share your knowledge with those people who are with us, but also who will be here in the future watching this video. Don't be selfish by keeping what you know to yourself. All right, share it, even if it's a question. So let's see. Let's see. So I see some comments here. I'm going to start reading some of the comments. All right. So Yashe, even when I studied the Bhagavad Gita, I never joined, only read the wisdom. Hey, you know, I'm with you on that. I would not join anything ever again. Nate Bad Y'all says, Shalom, elder and family. Shalawama, Shalawama. Shalom, elder and family. March 16th is the December 12th day. Okay. Nate, can you, I never heard of that. Can you give me some more so I can know about what this is? Maybe I can include this in the presentation next time I do it. I haven't heard about that, so I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, Nate. Thank you. Okay, Yashe says around 20 to 23 are when the equinox and such are. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yashe continues. Capricorn with the cloven hoof, the goat. Yep. Yashe says Southern Cross comes and is Christianity. This is all Masonic Christianity. Yes, indeed. The black priesthood, the dark priesthood. Yep. And you know what I like about this book too, is that this author, he really tells you about who they worship, right? The divine master, the black prince. Now, I don't remember if we got to the part yet about how he exposed the magic. Yeah, we did. We read the chapters about the author exposing the magic that these priests are involved in, right? And the whole purpose of Christianity. And it correlates perfectly with Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. Nate Bad Y'all says, I meant as equal hours, day, 12 light, 12 night. Yes, yes, indeed. 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night time. Yes, indeed. All right, y'all. Yeah, keep it coming. Let's educate our people. I certainly don't know everything, so y'all keep it popping in the chat. Let people benefit like y'all doing from what you know, and let's make it do what it do. Okay, all right. I'm trying to see if I should close out now or read a little bit more. I tell y'all what, let's do 2 more paragraphs. I think we've been going for about an hour. Let me see, an hour or hour and a half. All right, so let's get these last 2 paragraphs in. And by the way, be sure to subscribe to 101 Ancient Ibaryath, okay, the streaming online course that's going to teach you our language, which is not biblical Hebrew and it's not modern Hebrew. zionlawschool.org. Okay. And then also come to our Saturday class. You can come for free a couple times, right? 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The links for everything is in the description box of this video. And also, you can get our books, the literature that we've written. It's in the description area along with the links. So let me go ahead and begin reading the next paragraph. It reads, and from that point, he astronomically does and allegorically did fall down and worship him. He's talking about the Christ figure fell down and worshiped the devil. Okay, so now he's talking about allegorically and astronomically. Okay, so let's read. That is, comes down from his height of ascension, which is the zenith, in succession after the devil. And it has to be that way, right? Because the whole thing is spinning in a circle. It continues, who having been the leader, so the devil was the leader, right? And so seems to go before and drag and pull Christ up to that point immediately after becomes the follower and receives that astronomical rebuke. Get thee behind me, Satan. With that astronomical explanation of it, for it is written, that is, or to clarify, it is according to the everlasting law of the heavenly bodies. Quote, thou shalt worship, that is, thou, the adverse sign, that's the devil, shall follow or come after the capital Lord, thy capital God. So they're talking about the Christ figure in the doctrine where Jesus is God. Thou shalt worship, that is, thou, the adverse sign, that's the devil, shalt follow or come after the Lord thy God, that is, as I have so abundantly explained. Thou shalt follow after the constellation of the ram, that's Aries, which literally was and eternally is the capital Lord, Gad, spelled Gad, of Israel. So I'm going to show a picture of that before we close out. Next paragraph, and we'll stop here. Nor will you ever be confused in this science. He's talking about the science of linguistics, etymology, right? If you will but remember the simple axiom that as there are three persons in the Godhead, so there are three persons in the devil head, the Hydra, extending over the three signs of Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, is the devil. All right, so Leo, Virgo, and Cancer, that's the devil. Okay. The dragon that persecutes the virgin is the devil. And the whale that persecutes the lamb is the devil. Yet, are they not three devils, but one devil? The moral character of Satan being nothing more than a picture of the physical phenomena of these three constellations. All right, so let's close it out there, and we'll be back tomorrow. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow to conclude. So this keeps the video short, right? Some people contacted me and said I should make the video shorter. So that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for spending your time with me this evening. If you have some suggestions or recommendations, put it in the chat. I'll take them into mind so that we can make the presentation better. Okay. That's what I really want to do. I want to give the best presentation possible. If anybody wants to come in and read, give me an email. You can come in and help with the reading if you like. If anybody wants to come in who's a Christian or Hebrew Israelite who follows the New Testament, you're also welcome to come in and give commentary if you want. Okay, I'm not pushing any position. The only thing I ask is that if you do come in, don't push your doctrine, don't evangelize, right? We'll keep it at a academic level discussion, meaning to say we discuss what's on the page, right? We discuss the meaning of what the author wrote, okay? And we can discuss how it looks from our point of view, but no evangelizing. And the discussion has to be kept on topic of what's written in the paragraph that we're reading, right? Or you can make a connection to something else that we read in this book, but it's not going to turn into something where it's becoming a debate or an argument or evangelizing, right? Strictly academic, scholarly. That means staying on topic. Okay, staying on topic and not getting angry, right? You can express your viewpoint. You can express what it means to you from your perspective, but in terms of indoctrinating and pushing doctrine, that's not what we do at Zion Law School. All right, everything has to be scholarly, academic. Okay, no religious stuff. All right, but you can make your case. Okay, you can express yourself, say whatever you want to say. So let me close out. I want to take y'all to zionlawschool.org. Okay, so come to zionlawschool.org. Be sure to subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. When you get to our website, zionlawschool.org, go to course offerings, click on Ancient Ibaryath. All right, this is where you're going to get the Ibaryath course, 101 Ancient Ibaryath. And subscribe. Okay, it's basically free. This is going to help you with your return to the Most High. All right, so here you are, $1 for 1-day trial. Okay, you're going to learn the pictographs, everything pictographs, including the grammar associated with individual pictographs and culture associated with individual pictographs. And you're going to learn Ibaryath word studies, and you're going to carry with you 225 vocabulary words. So go here, scroll down to the $1 for 1-day trial, subscribe. All right. If you continue to scroll down, you'll see the curriculum. You'll see the topics discussed, but you must remember that there's more in this streaming online course than what we wrote here. Okay. So there are 3 parts. First part is the background information. Second part, everything pictographs. Third part, grammar. You don't need any Hebrew language experience. All you need is a cell phone, laptop, computer, and an internet connection. That's all you need. You're going to learn like a baby from preschool all the way through college, if you will. All right. And don't forget, you're invited to come Saturday to our class. It's every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're invited to come to some classes, right? You can check out a couple classes. You're going to learn a tremendous amount. We go in greater detail than what we're doing right now. In the Saturday class, it's unbelievable the things that you will learn. We go in much greater detail, and you really get to see the power of linguistics and etymology, okay? And critical thinking. More importantly, critical thinking, right? But this is science. So like, share the video. Be sure you check out our literature that we sell by going to or clicking on the products menu. Okay, if you're on a budget, or if you have children, or if you love animals, be sure to order our Animals in the Bible. This is a full color, brilliant, vibrant book. Your children will love it. You'll love it. It's going to tell you the animals' names in the Bible in Ibaryath and how to pronounce them. All right. So do that. 911 Ibaryath Rescue. Get this book. This will be very handy for you when you enroll in the 101 streaming course. Okay. 101 Ancient Ibaryath. Get this book. All right, so thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Yasapa. I appreciate the time you spent with me. Oh, by the way, be sure y'all go out and get our book series, I Can Read Deuteronomy chapter 28. This is our course textbook for the Saturday 9 a.m. course. Saturdays, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the book we're using. This is our textbook. So support your own. Let's continue creating our own literature so we don't have to depend on people who hate us and people who have harmed us, right? So support, get our literature so that we can create more literature and you'll have more. You have more literature, right? And you won't have to deal with all of the brain games, the psychological operations, and the psychological attacks that we have been constantly exposed through reading the dark priesthood's books. All right, we can get out of that by creating our own. And as far as I know, I am the only one who's making scholarly publications like this. This is not something that a template that I bought and filled in the words. It's not that. All right. Oops. Let me see. I'm creating literature for us. Okay. I'm creating the literature. So I'm asking for y'all to support it and to use it. More importantly, to use it. So let's close out as always with Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. This is the whole game, y'all. If you've been here for more than one or two of these videos, you should know that this is the whole game. This is what it's all about. Here's what's been done to us by our own people. And don't think that it's not being done today, because it is. It is. Human psychology doesn't change. There are vicious people who want to live off of you and use you and take from you. Okay? But it's your responsibility to become competent, not only in English, but in Ibaryath, so that you can begin to read these documents and you don't need a preacher, a pastor, a Moshe, a Moreh, or any of these other titled people. All right? But you have to do it. I'm bringing this to you, but you got to take it. Jeremiah 8:8 in the Bible Hub. How can you say we are wise? Again, wisdom is the proper application of knowledge. Jeremiah is saying, how can you say we are applying knowledge properly? That's what he's saying here. And the conjunction and, so the next thought, and the law of the Most High is with us. How can you say the law of the Most High is with us? How can you say it? And we are learned in its language. What language? Ibaryath, not biblical Hebrew, not modern Hebrew, not the rabbinic teachings. That's not ours. That's theirs. They don't want us to have it. They don't want us to use it. So stop using it. Support me so I can continue to create our own literature. Why keep buying their books when we can create our own, right? And we are learned in its language. Now, y'all should know right now that the Jewish books, the Christian books, they're all teaching doctrines, okay? If you don't believe that they're doctrines, go pick up any two books or any three books, and I guarantee you, you're going to see different explanations of the same verses. They're all teaching doctrines, okay? Now, how do we know this? What's the problem with this? All right? So how can you say we are wise and the law of the Most High is with us and we are learned in its language and teachings? What teachings? The law, the Most High's instructions. What law? The Most High's instructions, the commandments. I'm going to put you on to something. At their essence is natural law. Now, how can you go wrong following natural law? How can you go wrong following natural law? Who can tell you don't follow natural law? For example, who can tell you don't touch that hot stove? Who can tell you don't jump off the bridge? Who can tell you you can't fly unless you create some type of machine, right? Who can tell you you cannot steal something from somebody and get caught and not expect something bad to happen to you? Okay? Or steal something from somebody and you don't get caught. You know in your heart of hearts, you're going to have to pay that back, probably 100 or 1,000 times fold, right? That's a law of compensation. Okay? All right? Who can say this, right? Who can tell you not to follow natural law? All right, but anyway, so Jeremiah continues to say, behold, the truth is that the lying pen of the scribes have made the law into a lie, a mere code of ceremonial observances. So Jeremiah is warning us that our ancestors and others, right? They created religions. They used our documents and created religions. They used our documents and created religions. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, so on and so forth. Why did they do that? Because they want to take your money. They want to live off of you. They want access to your wife, your husband, and your children. Okay, go back and read the other videos that we've done where we talked about the Black priesthood, the magic, okay, and the whole purpose or intent of Christianity. The author brings out is to make intelligent people into fools, to make courageous, brave people into cowards. All right, fools and cowards. Okay, so go back and watch those videos. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. If you have any knowledge you want to share with the people, put it in the chat. Contact me if you want to talk to me. Otherwise, I hope to see you Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's not going to cost you a thing to come. Come with a friend or family. You can learn from free, ask questions, fully participate. But if you don't do anything else, be sure to subscribe to 101 Ancient Ibaryath, the streaming course that we offer. That's going to help you return to the Most High. All right. It's almost free, only $10 per month. You can test drive it for $1 for 1 day. You have absolutely nothing to lose. How can you even say that you're serious about returning to the Most High if you won't even subscribe for $1 to try it for 1 day? It's your language. How can you say you're serious about returning to the Most High and you won't even invest $1 in yourself to learn your own language and culture? If you won't invest 10 notes, $10 per month to learn your own culture, your own heritage, so that you can read the Most High's words to us, how can you say you're serious? Right? How can you say it? But anyway, I'm going to end it at that. Again, see you tomorrow, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, tomorrow. See you tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shalom and thanks again. See you then.